I've been in the gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? The breeze from the past will assist your irregular breathing. Handle got your ankle in your knee in a disagreement. Now your balance taking off for bereavement. They wanna know what I be cooking up, cause then they think we be even. But I know, look, dished it, so I never seen it now. Gym getting my level up. Fenders getting gas, so I mash on the pedal. What? The backboard I crash, slam the rock to a pebble. What? My team is the strongest and we crush the competitors.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the show today, and hopefully we can catch a little break from everything that's happening in the world. This is the Fast Break, and I am Tali Carr, and this is the final episode of the year. So let's sit back, get comfortable, because we made it. And we don't have any NCAA action to talk about as planned, but there's still plenty to look back on, including the CIAA tournament final, the championship game from the front row like you've never seen it before. Let's go behind the lens now with Wally Pitt.
It's the 2020 CIAA Championship game, and you can go ahead and file this one away in the classic section of the HBCU Hoops history books. And I was front row for the whole thing, as Winston, Salem State, and Fayetteville State sent the tourney off to Baltimore with a show enough bang. Winston was fresh off a crazy late-game semifinal win over Claflin, and the Broncos had just beaten Smith in Charlotte by 8 points. And since everybody in the CIAA South are rivals, it was definitely a no-love lost type of ball game. Fayetteville State about that action early, jumping out to a 10-point lead in the first half. Will Brown with the tip in. Jalen Spicer with the jumper. Then it's back-to-back threes on the other end from Dante Caldwell and Justice Kithcart. Then it's Mason Harrell. Show off, big fella. Rams cut the Bronco lead down to 2. Now Denzel Hosh had that dog in him all night. Here he gets a steal, pulls up for 2, and he has something to say about it. But so does Xavier Fennell. The X-Man gets the athletic putback, the mean take to the rim. Then it's Rob Cologne with the hard drive to the lane, plus some soft touch on the floater. Even I caught a stray on this drive to the rack, and the all-CIAA guard was out there heating up. How about an in-and-out, jab, step, back 3? I guess when you Rob Cologne, that's in your bag too. Then Xavier Fennell gets the steal, hits Rob Cologne. Cologne hits him back for another strong take by Zay Fennell, and the Rams are up 2. But they end up down 3 by the halftime buzzer after a Ty McClain 3 and a Jalen Spicer 2. 28-25 Broncos at the break. Yeah, he told me. Then he showed me that it really wasn't a problem either. Rob on the outlet, stopping pops the 3. The casual dribble out of the triple threat, yeah, he gonna pull that up too. But remember I told you Denzel Hosh had that dog in him? Here he hits a mean 3 over Cologne. Then he pump fakes Fennell and lays it past Mason Harrell. Broncos go on a 9-0 run. All CIAA forward Jalen Seegers gets the lay. Then Denzel Hosh pulls up from beyond the arc. The Fayetteville State bench is feeling it up 9. Actually, go ahead and make it 11 after Denzel Hosh gets the kiss off the glass between 2 defenders, 4 minutes left to play. The Rams were locked in during the timeout, and if they were going to come back and get this ship, they had to do it now. Jonathan Hicklin gets the 3. Then it's Rob Cologne with the hezzy and the lay. Then he takes Denzel Hosh for a walk. Rob Cologne cooking with both burners on, and the Bronco lead is down to 3 with 1 minute left to play. Rams with the ball. Cologne looking to make a play, and he draws a foul. He hits one, misses the other. SU down 2. Broncos inbound to Jalen Seegers, but Cologne and Fennell got him locked up like Akon and Jeezy. Cologne gets the jump ball, and the arrow is pointing in the Rams' direction. Down 2. Cologne back in his bag. He gets past Denzel Hosh, then steps back for the 3. Nothing Hosh could do but foul, and Rob Cologne is going to the stripe for 3 shots and a chance to take the lead with 4 seconds left to play. The first one bounces around and drops in. The second is cash money. The Broncos call timeout and ice him for the 3rd free throw. And you can take the goons out of games, but you can't take the gains out of the goons. The Winston sideline is crunked up like the Icons in 2001. Cologne, back at the line. Bruh takes one dribble and knocks it down like he's in the gym all by himself. WSSU has the 63-62 lead. Broncos with one last chance. Down 1. Jalen Spicer gets the inbound, pushes it up court and lets it go from 3. It rims off the back iron, and the Rams pull off the comeback, get their first CIAA championship since 2012. Sheer heartbreak for the Broncos as Rob Cologne scores 25 points, wins tournament MVP, cuts down the nets, and etches his name in the history books of one of the most iconic basketball programs in HBCU history.
Was it 9 or 11? 11 points. We called that first time out down by 11. I saw everybody still locked in. That y'all gave me the confidence to keep going. Y'all gave the coaching staff confidence to keep going, and that sealed the deal. I'm so proud of y'all for that, man.
When we return, they just don't pick ball boys and ball girls or ball people out of the crowd at the CIAA tournament. It's actually a process, and we'll tell you all about it when we return. You're watching The Fast Break. Welcome back, everyone. Operation Future. That sounds something that maybe like Elon Musk thought of to put people on Mars or Jupiter or somewhere, but it's not. This program is all about getting young people exposure to HBCUs at one of the biggest platforms around for black college basketball.
For the past 25 years, behind every dive for a loose ball at the CIAA tournament, there's been a ball boy or girl ready to do their part to keep the court in playing shape. And behind every ball boy or girl at the tourney has been the team of passionate individuals that make up Operation Future. Led by Ben Piggott and Robert Chadwick, Operation Future takes local kids and puts them in the middle of the action at one of the biggest sporting events of the year, the CIAA tournament, exposing them to everything that the HBCU experience has to offer.
In 1994, the Winston-Salem Recreation Parks Department and Forsyth County Schools, they were starting a new program with the CIAA. There was a program that was supposed to be really unique, in which we're going to try to do essays to get young people to fill out essays to be a part of a ball boy program. And for 6 years, we had winners from all over Winston-Salem who participated in the CIAA ball boy. Me being a CIAA alumnus myself, a graduate of Livingstone College. So once we left Winston-Salem, I did not know what the future may hold. I took that road to Raleigh, not knowing who was gonna be over the ball boys. And that's when I met a gentleman named Mr. Robert Chadwick.
Well, my name is Robert Chadwick, and I'm a graduate of Elizabeth City State University, class of 1991. I'm what you call a CIAA baby. And the reason I say that is because my dad played for Elizabeth City State back in the 60s, and he's a CIAA champ. My first CIAA tournament was in 1969, in which my dad was actually playing in the championship against my uncle at Maryland Eastern Shore. So it has just been a family thing, and I'm pretty much taking and ran with it. I submitted a proposal to the past commissioner, Mr. Carey, in 1999 to ask him, for the opportunity of providing kids for the ball person program. I knew of it, but I really didn't know what it was. But what I noticed at the time I was living in Raleigh, and it was engulfed with public housing. And I knew it was kids that was there that had never participated in the CIAA tournament, let alone knew what it was. So in my proposal, I asked them, could I take over the helm as the coordinator for the CIAA tournament?
I think I went up to him to introduce myself to him, and he was cordial. I didn't know what the response was going to be.
He said, "How you doing? My name is Ben Pickett. I work with the ball boys in Winston-Salem." And I was very cordial to him, but now that I look back on it years later, I was cold. Because in my mind, I was like, hey, you did it in Winston. This is Raleigh. This is my show. I'm going to do this here. And I was like, no, I'm good. I already got my staff of people that's working with me. I'm good. But Mr. Pickett stayed around. Ben stayed around the whole time we went through the orientation. So at the end, I thought about it. Chad, you need this guy on your team because he's already done it in Winston. And I actually learned a lot from him because he did it. I put my twist on it. We even gave it a name. We called it Operation Future because we realized the kids are our future. So we started calling this Operation Future. You fast forward to the present, we've been able to touch almost 2,000 kids. The CIAA was a vehicle for us. I mean, once upon a time, we couldn't go to school nowhere else.
That's right.
All I knew was HBCUs. All I knew is the HBCU experience because I seen what it had did for my parents. I seen what it had did from my friends, from my family members.
Coming from a city of doing essays and things, I thought it was unique that we went into the intercity kid because I have to remember a lot of the kids that I dealt with were in public housing. Right. And just recently, we had a young man who stayed in public housing in Happy Hill, Torrey Woodbury. And this young man now is a NFL coach for the LA Rams.
The move to Charlotte was different because we knew Charlotte was a bigger city.
Big city.
And see, we were blessed in Winston and Raleigh because in Winston, Ben had dealt with Parks and Rec. So he had his hands in the game with the kids already. In Raleigh, I worked at a YMCA, one of 7 African-American YMCAs in the country.
That's right.
So it allowed us to have the kids. But when it was time to come to Charlotte, it was like, okay, we got to start from scratch. So the first thing we did when we got here, we created a staff of people. Fast forward 15 years later, we're in a great situation because we have been able to reach the masses and we've been able to help a whole lot of people. When you see parents at the CIAA, when we come here, they say, oh, well, my son is doing this, my son is doing that, my daughter's doing this, my daughter's doing that. And if it wasn't for your program, they might not be doing this. So Charlotte has been good to us. It's going to be bittersweet, but we're going to take this show on the road.
That's right.
We're going to go to Baltimore, and when we get to Baltimore, we're going to try to afford the youth of Baltimore the same opportunities that we've been able to afford, the youth in Winston and Raleigh and in Charlotte. We love doing what we're doing. That's the best. That's the best thing to sum this up. We love doing what we're doing. We love each other.
We love each
other.
It's
like a brother. I mean, and you think back from 20 years ago when the guy came into my building and I didn't even want to talk to him, to be able to come to Charlotte, man, and have your family that's here.
That's right.
Your family away from home. It's the only one of its kind in the country. You can research it. You can Google it, however you want to do it. Operation Future Ball Person Program is the only one of its kind in NCAA basketball throughout the country. I mean, we're producing great people. And the beauty to the whole thing with what we do is that we have been afforded the opportunity to see the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
And that's in being able to help kids and to help kids go forth in life.
We just thank God for the relationships, and that's what we love about it.
Absolutely. CIAA for life.
For life. Forever.
When we come back, it's our moment. The 2019-2020 season in Rewind. You're watching the Fast Break. The year was cut short, but man, it was still one heck of a season. Let's run it back now and relive this past basketball season.
WSSU took on the Tar Heels in an exhibition game. The Rams came up the hill to get active. I'm not capping when I say WSSU got the Heels in the layup line, bruh. That's just fact. Gate City low-key packed out the Coliseum for the Battle of East vs. West. Greensboro, that is. And yes, I know the Aggies caught the L, but they look to be in the hunt for a MEAC championship this year, as the guys from East Greensboro got a whole lot of talent coming into this new HBCU hoop season. It's going down to the wire in Salisbury, and the Blueberries got the ball with a chance to win. Roger Ray gets trapped trying to drive the lane. He finds Martell Hanley on the wing, driving right, shoots the floater with the left, and it's all cash like a fistful of 20s. And Martell Hanley, the guy who hit the game winner, was basically like, so?
Part of the game. Just read and react.
We haven't seen two Black Panthers go at it like this since Killmonger and T'Challa got it cracking in Wakanda. And SU gets the second half cracking like a set of arthritic knuckles. Julius Barnes to Jonathan Hicklin. Go off, young fella.
Andrews set the crowd off like Roddy Ricch.
And on the next episode of the First 48, Body on the Rims. The story of Isaiah Bailey's deadly trip to the basket. Now in the second half, Quay Parker must have been feeling like Gucci Mane in 2006, because this right here ain't make no sense. Above the rim, Slim tears the club up with the oop from Cam Langley.
Oh, Dobie. It was so good, Coach Wright on the sideline giving back rubs.
Now for all the lames out there screaming about how the women's game is soft and how ladies hoops ain't physical, this was most definitely the game to shut your mouth and send you into the kitchen to make these women a post-game sandwich. And it's no cap when I tell you the Club Corbett crazies were at the Spartans' neck from the second they stepped out on the court. And that energy most definitely made its way onto the court, as both squads decided to say, "What's poppin', Playboy?" to one another during pregame. A&T started off how they always do, a baseline alley-oop to Quay Parker. And it got extra spicy on the court as well. Physical, hard-nosed basketball at its finest between two squads who ain't really all that fond of one another. The Eagle pride was all the way amplified, and there was no need for any of that back and forth on the court. When you got the hottest rivalry in all of HBCU sports, deciding who's going to be the conference champs, all you got to do is jump the ball and get it cracking.
HBCU Gameday, we coming back. This is what we do. Look up here. Look up here. It's all us. This is what we do.
The hits keep on coming at the 75th CIAA tournament. The Bowie State women get a buzzer beater from J.J. Williams after coming back from being down 10 points with 2 minutes left to play. The Bulldogs surviving and advancing to the semifinals. Go ahead and size them up for that ring, because the Broncos of Fayetteville State University are the 2020 Women's CIAA champions after beating Bowie State 61-53.
A lot of people probably doubted us. Y'all had us like ranked number 8. Came out number 1, so I mean.
Stay with your chest, man.
Yeah, man. So, I ain't gonna say no more, you know.
All right.
Get rings, man. We champ. Stay like that, man.
My guy, the standard bearer right here, James Rice, the best coach in the SIAC, male or female, right here. This is our guy, man. Iron sharpen iron.
Game over.
We'll end the fast break with one of the most popular coaches, according to some people, in HBCU basketball. We'll be flying high with the Eagles when we return. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm Tolly Carr. If the NCAA tournament had occurred this year, there's a good chance that North Carolina Central would have been in the mix somewhere in there. Earlier this week, I got a chance to spend a few minutes on the phone with their head coach at North Carolina Central, LeVelle Moton.
We all have cabin fever. We all still have to run our programs. Our recruiting has been affected because we can't go out on the road. And if we do go out on the road, we're not seeing anyone because their events have been canceled too. So just the evaluation of a player now, I honestly think this 2021 class will have triple the amount of transfers because these guys will be poorly evaluated and poorly assessed on both ends, from their end and our end, and someone will be unhappy. It's almost like dating a girl off a profile picture. right? That you don't even say, okay, yeah, we gonna start dating, and all you've seen is her profile picture. You haven't spent any physical time with her. She haven't seen you. You haven't seen her. Y'all haven't spent time together. You're just making a commitment off of social media, and that's what we got to kind of resort to now, as coaches. So, it's really weird, man. And I just hope as a country we can all get through this and everyone go back to their fundamental aspects of their lives.
Can you tell if a kid like has some dog in them just on tape, or do you have to see that?
Yeah, that's one of them things that heart is immeasurable, right? You can't. And these kids are slick now. They will catfish you, right? They'll put a highlight package together and put your favorite song to it, and before you know it, you bobbing your head to the song. You're like, okay, this kid nice, and then you realize he got free throws on his highlight tape. You know what I'm saying? Like who does that? But no, it's really difficult, and that's the thing where you have to really thoroughly evaluate these kids, and the only way you can find out if they really have that dog in them and have the toughness and the things that your program is about and everything that you want them to encompass is being the front row and seeing them during adverse times. We got this quote that says adversity introduces a man to himself. So when things are not going their way, you'll see how they respond. Highlight tapes are just that. The highlights. I need to see the lowlights to really evaluate who am I getting, because I need you to have the same consistent attitude and effort regardless of the circumstances.
You can watch that interview in its entirety if you go to HBCUGameday.com. A lot of good stuff if you want to check it out. Hey, man, that's it. It's a wrap. Big thank you to our executive producer, Wally Pitt. We got to give him a shout out before we get out of here. Man, my guy wears a lot of hats and puts in a lot of work that you don't see to bring you these TV shows every week since football season. I just show up and talk. I have the easy job. Sports is on halt now, but the action never stops at HBCUGameday.com. So until we see you on TV again, we'll catch you on the website. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Be safe, prayers to all, and we hope to see you soon. Nope. Come on, let's go hit the stop button together. It's the last show. That's it. It's over. Finito. It's a wrap.